everybody. Welcome to Soul Journey 424. Hey, Michelle.
Hello, everybody.
So, Michelle recently, actually, it started on the 30th of December. So, the day before New Year's Eve, she actually started communicating vocally in maybe the religious people would say she's speaking in tongues. In this world or in this conversation, we can say she's maybe speaking in light language. I don't know, and I, I feel always hesitant to put a label on it because we just don't know. But Michelle, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you've experienced and how you feel about that?
Okay, so it's really strange, and if you've been through this or you're going through it, you may experience it too. Um, so I was doing my regular meditation. I get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I make my coffee, have a sip, and then I sit in my place of meditation and my safe space. And I was doing my meditation, and I heard uh, "hi," and I was like, "Huh." Sometimes I was here doing things like I would just like breathe weird or have this rapid breathing patterns that I wasn't controlling. Just things like that were already happening. But this time I heard the word "hi," and then it was almost like I was watching my body, but I wasn't in my body, and I was talking, I was speaking. The energy was still like the Kundalini energy. It rises, it like gets real strong and goes up my spine, and but and as that was happening, I was vocalizing. I was being very vocal and talking in a funny language. And I'm not sure, like John said, I don't know if it's light language or glossolalia, but it's been really for the last 4 days. That's what's been going on, and it's just I don't know how to explain it, except like I said, feels like I'm listening, but I'm there, but I'm not there. I don't know if it's the beginning of channeling or what it is, but curious to see what comes next.
And for the record, everybody, it's probably not a surprise that we're really hoping it's channeling, right? It sounds so horrible, but there's some selfish reasons. We really would like the channeling aspect of this to come out, but I think also, Michelle, I think a part of this too, the challenge for it is you're self-conscious about this.
Yes, I'm as I feel like I have come a long way as far as being shy and outspoken, because I'm not uh, very outspoken. I'm kind of I'm shy. So this is a big deal for me to even post this on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, on YouTube, and uh, I don't know how I feel about it. I, I feel weird even saying that it's happening to me, but it is happening to me, and if I'm meant to do something to raise the collective and help with the ascension of into the new earth, I want to be participant. I want to do whatever I was placed here to do. What's my purpose? And I want to do what my purpose is, but my humanness does hold me back some. I haven't mastered that yet.
I think another challenge that I bet the viewers would relate to is you really have so few people you could confide in about this. And you were mentioning you were reaching out to me, and I was busy at the time. So,
Yeah.
but it's not like you have a huge peer group of people who would understand, believe, care, respect, whatever it happens to be.
Right.
Is you're very isolated, and I bet the viewers or everybody looking, if they're kind of going through this, they're probably the same way. They're probably so self-conscious, and they have no peer group about this.
It is. It's hard. I mean, I've joined a few Facebook groups and stuff, but there's nobody like in my immediate friends group that I would feel comfortable saying that this is happening to me. it would be nice to be able to compare notes or talk to somebody, even if it was on a Zoom, that's had this happen to them and how it began, and you know, things that they've experienced and groups that they've attended, and I guess the answers are out there. I just haven't found them yet. I've already engrossed myself in watching as much about the Kundalini and that I can find, and it's just not been enough to give me enough information to what's happening to me personally.
So what I think is very interesting. So the day this happened on the 30th, you reached out to me. I was not available. You let the audience know who you were successfully able to get into connection with.
So I do have a group that I follow on Facebook. It's called Kundalini, the Spiritual Awakening page, and I posted about it, and I did get a few responses, just two, but they were saying to record it. So someone had commented that I should record it, and someone else also recommended that I speak to. There was two other people that I have not reached out to yet. This was just yesterday, so just haven't had the opportunity, but maybe I should do that. It's almost like you feel vulnerable, like someone's going to want to be paid for their advice, and I'm not willing to do that at this point.
And for the record, I think ultimately, if this is really happening to you, ultimately they're going to want to pay you, would they not? Right? This is legit. I also think it's amazing that if it ends out that in your journey and you ask around and you record it and you share that recording, and then somebody says, I have experienced that and I could translate that for you, that would be such... it's hard for me to describe. It almost makes me emotional in the fact that, I'm a believer, right? But if you have to put it from 1 to 100, maybe I'm in my 80s. I believe, but there's a part of me still that doubts, right? There's still a part of me, though a vast majority believes this is real. I really believe it. But if somebody actually put a species, a race, a type of communication, a translation to it, that just qualifies it so much that at this point I could say I could go to my dying bed and be 99.99% positive. This is absolutely a communication methodology more so than imagination. And I think that's what everybody's hoping. This is not imagination. This is communication, and we just have to figure out what it means.
What language is it, and what does it mean? And
you're holding my ticket in a sense.
So I don't believe that there's anything negative about it. I believe it's benevolent, whatever it is, and it's trying to tell me something, but I don't understand it right now. And I'm hoping that maybe I'll figure it out, or I'll find somebody who knows. But I don't know if it's I've heard that we're all part something, part alien. I don't want to say alien because I don't mean it like that.
But we're a hybrid.
We're hybrids. We're all hybrids. Like, we could be from Lemuria or Pleiades, or I don't even know what the other ones are. Arcturus. There's many. If you ever go down the deep rabbit hole like I did, but I don't know which this is, which one this is. So I'm hoping to be able to connect with somebody that can guide me a little bit.
So as a viewer, folks, I would ask, have any of you had these kind of experiences? Does this fascinate you? Because I will say, with all the videos that Michelle have been dropping, how many of you have reached out to her? Zero. So we really don't know if this is something that's resonating out there, but I'm hoping somebody has a question or some insight, and I would also really I would encourage Michelle to submit that recording to those people, and at least the people who asked. And again, I don't like the money grab thought. I don't like the idea of people trying to say, "I'll look at it, but I'm going to charge you $1,000." It's like, then you're wrong. You're the wrong people. And
Yeah, I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with getting paid. Trust me. If this were something that I was to do for a living, of course I would want to be paid. You can't afford to do it for free. But at this point, I don't think I'm far enough along where I want to spend hundreds of dollars. I just need somebody to talk to about it who has gone through it, and somebody to guide me a little bit. I don't need an hour session of somebody guessing what it is. I want somebody who has some experience in this area.
And you know what? I'm wondering if since you have the recording, and everybody, I have not heard it. And Michelle's not comfortable with that, and I'm fine with that. But I would almost advise if you listen back in your private, in your safe place, then if you get some like tonations and things like that, and are at least able to recognize some of the uniquenesses in that language. If you start searching YouTube for people who are recording themselves, I'm curious if you find any commonalities with them. If it's a totally different one, or if there's one that has similarities, because that might be an interesting start.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that may be. It's it's already like a big transformation in someone's life when they start going through this. Now they're spending all their time trying to do research and trying to understand what this is, and watching video after video after video, and you feel like you're wasting your time, but at the same time you're so intrigued, and you just got to get to the bottom of some of this stuff. And it's just it's a weird place to be, where I just wish I could ask somebody some questions that was willing to actually get on a phone call or a Zoom call, or somebody that's been through it, that's doing it. There is, I heard that there is like doctors and things that have actually gone through Kundalini that are offering their services, but like I said, I haven't reached out because of course it's for a fee for service, so I haven't gone in that direction yet. But
I wonder if there's an apprenticeships. If somebody's looking for an apprentice, and it's like, hey, you learn, you help them with some, maybe their emails or something.
There may be, John. I don't know, but there may be something out there that's, a mentor that I could help and learn from at the same time. I could do something for them. They could do something for me.
So now there's a question that I came up with that I wanted to ask you, and I mentioned to you before. So last episode that we recorded, you were expressing how much you want to be. You enjoy that state that you're in so much. It's euphoric. You wish you could do that all the time. Mm-hmm. So my question is there, do you think, a chance that you can learn how to do this while you're sleeping?
That's definitely a possibility. I was meditating before sleep, and before my Kundalini activated. Once the Kundalini activated, it was keeping me up all night, and then I would feel terrible the next day because I need sleep. I'm one of those people that I have to sleep, even if it's 6 hours, 7 hours. I was always an 8-hour person, but now I'm maybe 6, 7, and I'm good. But so that Kundalini energy, I have to set the intention when I go to sleep. I have to say, I need to sleep, I need to sleep, I need to sleep. And I guess I'm talking to my higher self, saying, all right, this is my sleep time. Please don't send that energy through my body right now. And it has been working for the most part. Now this morning I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because, and I was doing that language, that funny speaking. So as soon as I sat down on my, actually it was before, because it happened before I even got out of bed. And I said, well, I can't sleep. So I ended up getting up. I made my coffee and I went and I just had extra time. And so that's my safe space is, and that's when my Kundalini becomes active, and that's when I'm having these things happen. I'm just, as far as doing it at bedtime, I know that we leave our bodies during sleep. That's when our bodies, our spirits, our souls are most active when we're asleep. But I don't know if I want to activate the Kundalini at bedtime, because when I say it's an intense energy, I'm talking electrocution energy, where you feel like you're being electrocuted. And it's like your whole body just is frozen, shaking, and it's not something you can't sleep, obviously, when that's happening.
Yeah. Fascinating. All right, it's I think that's amazing, and definitely I would encourage you to try to. We want to kind of isolate what kind of language you're speaking, because at one time, and I know you were planning to read some of these passages, but at one time the communication method in which was being used to communicate to you and through you was writing.
Yes.
Now it's gone verbal.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a change that none of us realize, but again, it doesn't seem like this is fatal. So I say go for it at this point.
Yeah.
If the writing is, it's too slow. So that tells me they're becoming more efficient in their communication to you. I believe, in my untrained opinion, is you must embrace that.
Yeah, and I am. And there's I wanted to say that when this is happening, now this is all in conjunction with Kundalini. So not only am I having this Kundalini energy surge through my body, causing me to, freeze and jump and, doing all this weird stuff. Then you have this language coming out of my mouth that I don't know what it's saying. It's just, it's almost, I think the Kundalini energy was preparing me or raising my vibration to be able to meet, because I've been asking for so long. I just want to, I always seek my higher self. I call in my higher self. And I think that I was just so low down on the, with depression and sadness and all those things that I had, that I wasn't able to get to this point. So now that I've raised my vibration, and that Kundalini energy has raised my vibration, now I can speak to, I don't know if they're speaking to me, or am I speaking to them, or are we having a conversation? I don't know what that is, but I believe that the Kundalini energy was preparing my body to be able to have that interaction, because the energies of the hybrids and what do you say, higher selves, our higher selves, or our higher beings, is so high, and ours is so low, that we have to meet them in the middle. So I'm meeting them in the middle. I'm finally at a point where I'm getting up to the higher levels. It's crazy. I'm sorry.
And I like it. Well, if you also want to kind of give it the equivalent to like just the standard human learning is, right? If they say, if you're trying to really learn something, you want to use multiple senses. If you're reading something, it's great, but you also want to speak it. If you could see it, so the more of your senses, and again, we only have limited senses as humans, but that's how we are able to take things further, digest information further.
Right.
Maybe if that's all a part of being ultimately more aware. You're now speaking it. You were writing. You're doing the motions physically. You're
Right.
vibrating. So,
Yeah.
if that's all a part of becoming more aware, that I guess even with our limited human comparisons, that it would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know what's next, but I believe that we were all put here on this earth. We decided to come to this earth at this time for this raising of the consciousness of the planet, and we're all on a journey. We're all just a little bit. Some of us are a little farther along than someone else, but um, we're all one. And I never understood that. Like I never understood that, but it's almost like something just clicks when you're going through this. You understand that we are one. We're one with the trees and the grass and the animals and other people, even people that you don't like. We're all part of a bigger picture, and it's hard to explain if you're not going through it, because I never understood it. I would always, I had dislike for certain people or certain types of people, and I still do. I'm human, but I also understand that they're there for a reason. So how would you know what you did want if you didn't experience what you didn't want?
Hmm.
So that's how it's determined. We choose, and it's all our perception. It's how we perceive what's going on. Everything that we experience in day-to-day life is neutral. Everything's neutral. The only thing that's different is our perception. And your perception may not be the same as my perception. So to me, I might see, oh, that was a lesson, What can I learn from that? And someone else might say, that son of a bitch, da 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 da, So, and it's all because of the programming that we experienced growing up and going to school. It's amazing how, you become aware of the programming and how you got programmed and who programmed you and why you think that way. And it's just, it's like eye-opening. So, anyway.
Well, I say record, record, record.
I'm going to record it. I don't know when I'll post it, but I will have the recordings and hopefully get them to the right person to tell me what they are.
I think that's a great idea. And everybody, I would say please do. We encourage you to reach out, make comments. That will help. How can it hurt? Just comment your thoughts and your experience to Michelle, and let's see where the communication goes.
Yeah, please. I need a friend. I need somebody that's, if you're going through this and you have any words of wisdom, or, if I have wisdom that you may need, feel free to reach out, please.
Michelle, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Hit the subscribe button.
All right. Bye-bye.